Hi there, welcome back to Splitting Image Taxidermy. Thanks for watching. Over the past couple of years, we've been faced with a lot of questions from clients that come and visit the studio. There have been a lot of misconceptions around taxidermy in South Africa. So today I thought we'd just go the whole Mythbuster route and bust a couple of myths about the 5 worst myths surrounding taxidermy in South Africa. Starting at number 5. Taxidermy in South Africa is not as good as taxidermy in the United States or Europe. Absolutely not true. There are great artists no matter where you go in the world. There are incredible taxidermists that we aspire to be like, we look up to. And I'm sure there's a lot of artists who look at Splitting Image Taxidermy and the quality of production that we put out there that aspire to be like us. For the value of the money you spend at Splitting Image Taxidermy, you're getting more than your money's worth by completing your work at Splitting Image. If you have a taxidermist back home that is a world champion and competes on a professional level, keep in mind his prices may well be much higher, his turnaround time much slower, and quite often the service levels associated with that level of artistry are not the foremost thought in the artist's mind. You do get what you pay for, but look at the whole picture and consider that when making your next decision about Splitting Image Taxidermy, doing your work. So that brings us to myth number 4. It takes a long time for you to do my work in South Africa and get it all the way back to me in the United States. This is not the case. South Africa is by and large the fastest turnaround of taxidermy anywhere in the world. We have a great labor system. We have talented, available labor that has grown this industry into what it is today. We own the tannery, so there are no other orders that take precedence over our internal clients. We only tan for our clients, and therefore we control the time frame within which the taxidermy gets completed. Throughout the process, every client is communicated with, and you won't believe it, it only takes 8 to 10 months for us to complete an order from start to finish. That's quick. If you were to realistically look at any other taxidermist internationally, you would find that once you take the dip and pack into consideration, the export of the dip and pack, and the taxidermy time thereafter, there are very, very few companies that can offer you a guaranteed 8 to 10 month turnaround on your taxidermy order. That's myth number 4, busted. Myth number 3 delves into the lines of fear factor or myth. The fear factor is as follows. If there's a problem with my taxidermy in South Africa, what can I do? You're 10,000 miles away and I'm not happy. I understand this. I'm a hunter and I put a great deal of value on my personal trophies. Splitting Image Taxidermy has very carefully worked at how we can bridge the gap between the United States and South Africa. We have an affiliate studio based in Houston, Texas. Taxidermy America is a fully operational, fully qualified and registered taxidermy studio that is there to not only mount animals from all over North America, Europe, South America, but they're there to back up Splitting Image Taxidermy. And in the off chance that there is a problem, they step up and take care of the problem. This being said, I personally have been in the industry for 20 years. In that time, we've had very few real complaints. When we have had problems, we have always stepped up and fixed them. Our reputation speaks for us. And then to back it up, we have the catchnet of a great affiliate studio based in Houston, Texas, Taxidermy America. That's myth number 3, and you don't have to be scared of it. Myth number 2. It's that saying I've heard more than once. I'd love to do my work in South Africa with Splitting Image Taxidermy, but I've got a guy back home and you know, he's quicker and he gives me preferential treatment. He puts me to the front of the queue. That's great. Let me define the guy back home. Firstly, it takes anything up to 4 months to dip and pack your trophies from Splitting Image Taxidermy and then export them to your guy back home. As good as your guy is, he's now 4 months behind Splitting Image Taxidermy. Unfortunately, you have to go through the dip and pack process to send the work back home. We do a lot of work for some great taxidermists, And in those cases, we make sure that the dip and pack is done meticulously and professionally, so that they can get your trophies as quickly as they can in order to get the process moving. This is merely a point that we're making to say there are always options. You can have a taxidermist that you work with regularly, and we want to support that relationship. But if you're undecided, the option to have the work completed by Splitting Image Taxidermy in South Africa is a great option. Because believe it or not, it is some of the fastest turnaround of taxidermy in the world. It's cost effective, and the quality of our work is absolutely superb. That's myth number 2, and I think we've handled it. Consider it busted. So that brings us to myth number 1. This is singularly the biggest myth in taxidermy in South Africa that we are faced with on a daily basis. So many clients want to have their work completed at Splitting Image Taxidermy. Great value, great quality work, great turnaround. But the fear factor involved with this myth is that the shipping of completed taxidermy makes the cost of taxidermy in South Africa far more expensive than anywhere else. This simply is not true. The cost of shipping when comparing dip and pack to taxidermy, the dip and pack is only marginally more cost effective. When you have your taxidermy completed at Splitting Image Taxidermy, you don't pay for dip and pack. So that's already, on a 10 animal consignment, approximately $2,500 saving immediately. You would still have to ship the dip and pack from South Africa back to the United States or to Europe. That on 10 animals would be approximately $2,000. At the end of the day, when you compare the cost of 10 mounted animals being shipped abroad or 10 raw animals being shipped abroad, the cost difference is approximately $100 to $150 per head. One thing you need to keep in mind, the cost of taxidermy in South Africa is approximately 30% more cost efficient than in the United States or Europe. I mentioned it earlier, we have a great labor force. We manage a lot of the processes internally, so we've managed to reduce the cost of production, again, to help save the clients so that they have more funds left over for hunting at the end of the day. So that big myth that the shipping makes the cost of taxidermy in South Africa exorbitant simply is not true. Please contact Splitting Image Taxidermy. Let us quote you on taxidermy and give you an estimate on shipping. We work with a great shipping company that offer really, really good rates and are reliable in their service. We're happy to give you a spreadsheet so you can look at the numbers and really consider the bottom line of your investment into taxidermy. The greatest myth of all of them, that shipping makes taxidermy in South Africa exorbitantly expensive, simply is not true. So there you have it. The 5 myths busted. We hope that this has been an informative session. Please feel free to email us for any information that you require. Feel free to mention any other misconceptions that you might have about taxidermy in South Africa. We'd be glad to correspond with you and help bust those myths as well. Find us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and check out our YouTube channel. Press subscribe, hit the notifications button, and you won't miss out on one of the great topics that Splitting Image Taxidermy brings you surrounding your next taxidermy order. Thanks very much for watching. We look forward to meeting you in the near future.